Hi. First off, I just want to wish everyone a happy Father's Day. Dad, if you're watching, love you. It's on the internet. Can't take it back. Can't hide it. Secondly, I want to talk a little bit about the hours I worked this week. It was a bit slower this week. I spent some time with friends and worked around the house, played with the dog, and so it's a little less than last week. And the breakdown is as seen here. Some time working in the building, moving bookshelves, moving books, talking to other department members about texts that we'd be working with. I spent a few hours finishing The Book Thief this week, which was an excellent read. Got me thinking about not only reading skills, but also about writing skills, thinking about mixing first person and third omniscient. And lastly, I spent a few hours cramming for my GRE test, which is tomorrow morning. Yikes. Lastly, as I mentioned somewhat last week, I want to spend some time and to address the private sector, I guess sort of as a whole. This last year has seen really a chasm sort of appear between workers, private and public, and that's been helped by certain politicians and certain media outlets which have portrayed public workers, especially teachers, as lazy, greedy, and unaware of the shortfalls that are facing the American private sector right now. And there are so many ways that I could respond to those allegations. But I want to first allude to one of my favorite actors, favorite comedians, Conan O'Brien. On his very last Tonight Show appearance, in his ending address, he asked his viewers to be kind, to work hard, and to avoid being cynical. And that's something that I'm trying to do here, and that's something that I try to do everywhere. And so I can say what follows is in all honesty and without a hint of postulating. Teachers get it. I get it. We're in the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. Jobs are disappearing. What money we have is worth less than it used to be, and things aren't going well. We're scared and we're angry. Teachers are aware of this. Our family, our friends work in the private sector. We worry about the sustainability of their jobs just as much as we do our own. We may not find fulfillment in sales or insurance or producing widgets, but that doesn't mean we devalue your jobs. Just because teaching is often called a noble profession does not mean we have a monopoly on it. Quality is within the person, not within the position that they hold. Our positions are not so different right now, and I don't mean to compare the minutiae of our careers, but in the position we find ourselves in the American Forum. Because we've put off regulating ourselves, we find ourselves in the hands of an angry American public. Because we've tacitly protected those who have done their jobs poorly, which reflects poorly on our profession. We both face stiff competition from overseas. There seems to be an endless supply of cheap foreign labor, and while teachers aren't often outsourced, we are often compared unfavorably to teachers abroad, who work with much different cultures, much different expectations, and much different compensation. Lastly, there's just not enough money right now. If we had more, we could do more. We could be more productive, produce a higher quality product or service, and in turn invest our money into one another. Critics blame unions and regulation or pay structures. They point out, with some truth, that we have more money in the system than we did before, even including inflation. But they don't care or ask where that extra money has gone. And we know the kernel of truth in their arguments is not enough to sow actual change or reform. And yet we've turned against each other. Your tax dollars fund our jobs, and in turn we educate your children. We provide a public service that we believe is valuable whether or not you have children yourselves. We hope to provide a high quality service that's egalitarian in nature and provide an equal, egalitarian opportunity for children, black, white, rich or poor, any dichotomy you can think of, to have an equal shot at success. We know that's not the truth, but that's what we're working toward. Our service creates citizens who not only purchase your products, but in one day will work for you. Perhaps the private sector has the most to gain from a highly educated and motivated populace. Think of it as long-term investing in human capital. I believe in public education, and I believe in private enterprise. And while their work is more alike than we realize, we should keep them separate. Homeschooling, parochial schools, private education are all good and should be options for people, but the public school should not be privatized. Rather than rid ourselves of public education, we should rejuvenate it, reform, and refund it. You want a world-class education for your kids, and so do I, but you have to pay for it. You pay what you get for, and taxes need to be raised. We need more teachers, and those teachers need to be paid more. Yes, we get into teaching for the children, not the money, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be paid a living wage. If we work as many hours as you do in the span of 10 months rather than 12, should it matter? And that's what I'm trying to find out here through the project. I want corporations that protect American jobs, corporations that act ethically, environmentally friendly, and have much less disparity in wages. Corporations that pay their taxes, corporations that work with unions and regulations. Yes, they slow down progress and profit, but they also protect us from our own avarice and haste. Corporations to create jobs through the strength of their product or service rather than through the strength of their own political connections. I know that corporations and small businesses like the ones I've described will probably need tax incentives at a local, state, or national level, and I'm okay with that. I view it as investing in our national capital. So, those are my thoughts for this week. Join me next Sunday for some more hours and more thoughts on education. Thank you very much.